my siblings, I don't remember being an only child. In my defense, I was only a year and a half old when my identical twin brothers were born, and I was only 3 years old when my also identical twin sisters were born. A common situation when I was a little kid was when my mom would take us to the store, all 5 of her kids in tow, and a random person would first ask, "Are those all yours?" And then, "Are those twins?" My mom would answer that yes, we're all hers, and yes, there were 2 sets of identical twins. After the stranger got over the initial shock, they would turn to me and ask, "So how does it feel to be the only one without a twin?" I've never fully answered that question. I guess one thing would be is that I learned to entertain myself. A lot of my time was spent in coloring books, and eventually I went into drawing from my own imagination. One thing that I drew when I was in 3rd grade was this made-up creature called a camibai. It was basically an otter with a mermaid tail. For some reason, my 8-year-old brain thought that this was super cool and cute, just like Japanese cartoon styles. Later, when I was in 7th grade, I attempted to draw a realistic version of this originally chibi character. I was really proud of that one. I do still draw, and this is my most recent graphite drawing. I'm pretty proud of it. I like how I did the shading. This is my cousin's dog. She's a beagle, and she loves her blankie, so I drew her in that. Another of my frequent activities is reading. This is a library card. I can't remember a time when I didn't read. It's such an integral part of my life. The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton is one of my favorite books. I love how even though the protagonist, Ponyboy, is known as a tough greaser from the bad side of town, his thought processes are philosophical and based upon the many books he reads. Even with the circumstances around him, his pure contemplation of life is fascinating as well as heartbreaking. At times I feel that I'm a little strange because I think in a similar fashion. I wonder if I take things too seriously or give meaning to something unimportant. However, I find that it gives me the ability to make what could be a mundane life an interesting and more fulfilling one. Music is also a very important part of my life. One aspect of this is singing. I love learning how harmonies complement each other and learning to master them myself. Usually, I sing at my church youth group with other members of the worship team. Another aspect of music that I enjoy is playing the viola, an instrument that I've played since I was 10 years old. Now, you may be thinking that I said the word violin incorrectly, but actually the viola is a completely different instrument. I came to learn about it on the first day of strings in 5th grade, and we were told to sit in the section of the instrument of our choice. Some sat in the bass section, some in the cello section, and a ton of us were in the violin section, including myself. No one was sitting in the viola section because none of us knew what that was. My orchestra teacher noticed this and managed to convince some of us to choose the viola by explaining that it was similar to the violin. That was enough for me, and so that's how I came to choose the viola. Despite this rather unceremonious selection, the viola's uniqueness is something that I've grown to love about it. It is generally larger than the violin and has strings A, D, G, and C, while the violin does not have a C string, but instead has an even higher E string before the A string. The viola also has a deeper, richer tone. In an orchestra, it is nestled between the violin section and the cello section, a subtle yet beautiful addition. The most important part about me is my faith. I am a Christian, and I pull a lot of my values from the Bible. As a musician, artist, and an aspiring writer, I gauge my success based upon what others think of my work. Did I sing with the right tone? Did I blend those colors correctly? Is the writing style good, or will I be cringing later? Etc., etc. This bleeds into insecurity about my personal level of organization, the way I look, and the way I interact with other people. However, what I learned from my faith, and what I'm still working to completely understand, is that I am more than other people's opinions of me. I am more than the only single in a family of twins. I am more than the quiet girl. I am more than the box that tries to contain me.